Have you ever heard of dragonflies that snipe their prey with bolts of energy? Or octopuses that serve as guard dogs? Or necromancer bees that live in reanimated carcass hives? These images aren't pulled from some bizarre medieval manuscript, nor are they long-lost Renaissance paintings. These are from the Codex Inversus, a modern world-building project from the imagination of the brilliant artist and writer Luca Vanzella. Brought to life through collages of classical art, the world of Codex Inversus is full of flora and fauna that have evolved to use magical energy, visitors from parallel dimensions, and fractures in space and time. At a glance, the surreal, scrambled visuals are difficult to make sense of. Yet like a medieval bestiary, the project does follow a unique system of internal logic. So, for this entry into the archive, I'll investigate the creatures, people, and locations of this scrambled world, and reveal the hidden order to the chaos of Codex Inversus. The land of Codex Inversus exists in the wake of a cosmic upheaval known as the Collapse, where extra-dimensional realms crashed into the material world, releasing vast magical energies that altered reality. Understanding the realm as it exists today is no easy task, for the world is full of strange oddities. Yet we must start somewhere. In the center of the northernmost continent lies the Valley of Delights, a relatively safe and idyllic region where magic practitioners create surreal sights. But it's not just people casting the magic. In Codex Inversus, even small creatures, like the bizarre transmuter snail, have evolved to use simple spells. In their neutral form, a transmuter snail is indistinguishable from an ordinary snail. Yet if, say, a plant is out of reach, a transmuter snail will move their eye stalks in specific patterns to rapidly change their body, gaining frog-like legs for jumping. If trying to cross a puddle, a transmuter snail might adopt a swimming form, gaining a tail similar to a tadpole's. And when trying to carry an object, these snails might even gain a long prehensile appendage, equivalent to an octopus tentacle. The first human spellcasters, called the Evokers, learned how to wield magic by studying animals like the transmuter snail. These early wizards found that existence can be shifted with the right pattern, and that pulling on the threads of reality can be dangerous. For spells in Codex Inversus are strange and unpredictable, often altering the user's physical body beyond recognition. And in the Valley of Delight, some spellcasters have also begun altering the biology of animals. The Chimera Cat is the result of artificial speciation through transmutation magic. With a spring-like body and piercing tail, Chimera Cats are designed to be the ultimate form of pest control. For while the valley is an idyllic locale, it has a bit of a rat problem. Manticorats are winged rodents that never evolved to cast spells themselves, but are quite adept at sniffing out magical ingredients on which to feed. And while the Chimera Cats proved effective at catching the Manticorats, now the valley is overrun with Chimera Cats instead. In Codex Inversus, human attempts to rewrite existence often end with disaster. Yet following the collapse of other realms into the material world, humans now share territory with wiser, formerly mythic beings. North of the Valley of Delights, the long-lived elves build their eternal kingdoms. Elves possess a greater understanding of how to safely cast spells than humans, and specialize in controlling the elements. In the mountains of the south, subterranean dwarves are more practical in their reality manipulation, creating artificial beings to aid in their mining. And there's another tunneling life form native to the southern continent. Abjuring termites are capable of incredible feats of engineering. They have evolved to cast spells, not with their bodies, but with the shape of their tunnels. Through the digging of complex patterns, abjuring termite nests are protected by a low-level spell, and are virtually indestructible. Termite farms have become novelty items, with some individuals putting them on display and asking guests to try and smash them, which is physically impossible. Yet the termites still have predators. The mudpecker is a bird that uses stealth to catch termites, inserting their thin beaks into the nest's pores without causing immediate alarm, and slurping clean one or two tunnels before the defenses are alerted. It's a strategy similar to ordinary woodpeckers, and suggests that sometimes the best path is the one of least resistance. In the southernmost region of the world, perhaps the strangest life forms of all are the matras. Sentient constructs of unknown origin, these clockwork beings strive to replace chaotic biological life with precise and reliable artificial creatures. Most notably, the matras oversee the Enigma Library, a collection of texts no one is able to translate. The artificial, cube-headed curators of this library search for a grand diagram, a complete and comprehensive explanation of how the collapse warped creation. So far, they have found nothing. The primordial chaos of the collapse has changed some populations in incredible ways. The seafaring halflings possess bodies that defy perspective. Like living optical illusions, they seem to have pieces missing from certain angles. These unsettling gaps, which are common on hands and arms, cause no pain, and are the result of parts of their bodies phasing through dimensional reality. And as is often the case in Codex Inversus, certain animals have evolved to take advantage of similar magical phenomena. Conjuring ants are tiny insects with an impressive secret. Like ordinary ants, conjuring ant society is mainly preoccupied with transporting food back to the nest for later consumption. But conjuring ants have found a faster method than carrying the food themselves. By moving in a specific pattern around a piece of vegetation, conjuring ants can fold space-time and teleport food directly back to the nest. To the north, reality becomes even further warped. Here, a marine paradise coexists with a prairie. Known as the Ethereal Ocean, this environment is possible due to out-of-phase water in the sky that various fish swim through. All animals here can interact with each other, even if they respond to different environmental conditions. Small fishes graze the fur of horses, sharks hunt flocks of birds, and spiders weave webs to catch flying shrimp. In this vast region where the sky behaves like the sea, certain groups of wizards have domesticated octopuses, which fill a similar role to dogs or cats. Some breeds of octopuses are able to hunt for vermin and scare off intruders, while others are clever enough to fetch tools and alchemical ingredients. Some magi octopuses can even cast small spells, although they are too shy to do so in public. The Ethereal Ocean is part of a kingdom called the Angelic Unison. Ruled by the ethereal descendants of celestial beings, the land is a place where anything can happen. A realm of infinite wonders, at the heart of the Angelic Unison are grassy plains populated by cosmic animals. Stargazing cows are inherently magical creatures that produce milk with calming and relaxing properties. The restless, insomniac sheep are the cows' opposite, with their milk acting as a natural stimulant, making sheep's butter a popular breakfast food across the kingdom. Yet the most important animals in the Angelic Unison are the Holy Cows, descendants of extra-dimensional animals from before the collapse that interbred with their earthly counterparts. Holy Cows possess the ability to quell aggression just by looking at someone. Their halo horn signifies their importance, and their milk always tastes sweet, even when spoiled, which can actually be problematic, and can cause sickness if one isn't careful. The Angelic Unison is a kingdom where almost all things possess some level of extra-dimensional distortion. Even stones take on fantastical properties in the floating plains, a region famed for its slabs of levitating rock. While an interesting novelty, these boulders can also be something of a nuisance, disrupting herds and keeping rain from watering crops. On the western edge of the continent, the independent nation of beasts has formed. Here, many groups of humanoids with animal features gather together under one banner and cast unique spells. In crowded cities, the catfolk are a common sight, filling the nights with the sounds of their serenades. Unfortunately for the general populace, to be a good singer, or just in tune, is not a prerequisite. Catfolk are also excellent weavers and spellcasters. Animal folk in general have a unique attitude towards magic, seeing the energies of the dimensional field as conscious, and spells a way of asking the field for assistance, rather than controlling it. Snake folk are another common resident in cities, preferring to stay indoors due to their cold-blooded physiology. Their ancestral fangs make chewing difficult, and so they have a unique culinary tradition based around soft foods. Snake folk cuisine has become famous across the continent, and many serpents now run popular taverns. Shambling in the back alleys of beast cities are unnerving pests. The bodies of deceased animals have been spotted moving seemingly of their own accord, surrounded by buzzing insects. These corpses are, in fact, the mobile hives of necromancer bees. These bizarre insects have come up with an ingenious way of scaring off predators, by hijacking the expired bodies of animals larger than they are. Necromancer bees reanimate animals using rather complicated spells for such tiny insects, moving in different formations called dances to get the muscles of their hives working once more. Strange as this might sound, ordinary bees can actually perform complicated dances to communicate the direction and distance of flowers to their fellow hive members. Deeper within the nation of beasts is a bleak landscape dominated by cubes of rock that look like they fell from the skies. Known as the Hades Badlands, the region is a land of oblivion, where reality unravels due to the cube's strange properties. Those who pass through may lose their memory, their minds, or their physical form. Even deeper within the beast nation, the secretive raven folk keep watch over the ghost forest. While they interact and trade with the other nations, they do not permit anyone to enter their mysterious domain. For while the ghost forest might appear like an ordinary grove, the fog works as a pocket dimension, which some plants and animals have evolved to phase in and out of. One such plant is the starberry, which produces an enticing fruit. It wants to be eaten, but not by ghost animals, since they can phase out the seeds during digestion. To prevent this, the fruit possesses a cage of thorns that stings only ghosts, with mortals able to pass through it unharmed. Eating a starberry means putting the bramble into your mouth, which can be unsettling even if you know it won't sting. The haunting ghost lilies are perhaps the most important plants of the ghost forest. These mind-altering flowers invoke memories and a sense of nostalgia when smelled or ingested. This property has made the lilies a luxury good, and a common export to more distant parts of the realm. In the margins of the Codex Inversus world, one of the rarer and more destructive creatures are the evoker dragonflies. These insects are carnivorous, and they hunt like sharpshooters, waiting for their prey and then striking from afar with impressive spells summoned from their tails. To resist the recoil of the bolt, evoker dragonflies must use their claws to grab on to whatever they are standing on. The kickback of their dart is also used proactively as propulsion by the dragonflies, with the insects shooting a bolt in the opposite direction they are headed, propelling them at high speeds towards their destination. And destructive magic isn't limited to insects. Ancient scriptures say that beings known as the fairies once wandered the world, spreading ruin for no reason other than their own amusement. The even grimmer counterparts of the fairies, the nightmares, also tormented the land, and drew the ire of the angelic unison. The angelic beings used the last spark of their divinity to banish them to the two moons that orbit the planet. Since other dimensions no longer existed after the collapse, the nightmares were sent to the Onyx Moon, where scripture says they remain to this day, ravenous and waiting for a chance to take their revenge. The fairies were banished to the Jade Moon and faded into myth over the passing centuries. Yet recently, sightings of eerie creatures wearing domes of jade on their heads have begun, and strange lights appear in the sky when the moons are full. Across the world of Codex Inversus, perhaps no location is as fabled or as feared as the Elsewhere Woods. A piece of crumpled space where reality folds like paper, the Elsewhere Woods are a place where lost things go. Some say towers of slithering flesh with geometric summits rise among the trees, their origin and function unknown. Others claim the woods are made of many different trees from all over the world, with patches of pine forest and stripes of tropical jungles, and brambles from arid lands fading into wet fields of reeds. Floating among these branches are white cloud possums, inquisitive marsupials that hover as if they weigh nothing at all. Some reports claim fearsome owl griffins prowl the Elsewhere Woods, defending their territory with fierce attentiveness. What truth there is in such fables is difficult to say, for few return from the Elsewhere Woods with their lives. One of the few well-documented beings of the Elsewhere Woods is the illusionist butterfly. Also spotted in other parts of the world, these insects have an impressive form of camouflage. From their caterpillar stage, illusionist butterflies are able to change color to match their surrounding environment with uncanny precision. Following metamorphosis, however, they hide in a different way. The venations on their wings form a pattern capable of casting an illusion spell. Many real butterflies have spots on their wings that essentially serve the same purpose, mimicking the eyes of predators to scare off would-be attackers. Yet the illusionist butterfly takes this a step further, with their patterns capable of creating an illusory owl that moves and flies next to its creator. These owl projections are rarely complete, with their bodies appearing and disappearing in a waving shape. Still, it's an incredible form of camouflage that shows when in the Elsewhere Woods, things are seldom what they appear. Entering the Elsewhere Woods is no easy task, for the region cannot be accessed through mortal means. There are rumors that the skulls of Cyclopses, giant beings who went extinct long ago, act as natural portals into the Elsewhere Woods. Monsters of unknown origin stalk the caverns where these skulls can be found. Chimeras made from many different beings. Reports describe creatures with tentacle arms, necks which split into fanged mouths, and disturbing heads shaped like crying children. Yet where could such nightmares have come from? Some have theorized that the Cyclops skulls connect to other places with spatial anomalies. There are rumors of a land beyond the ocean, far from any known landmass, lit by a fracture in space known as the Second Horizon. No one from the known world has reached the shores of this land, although many have tried. According to legend, the land is populated with three-eyed people, a lineage different from any other. Their land is also populated with hammer gulls, seagulls with the heads of hammerhead sharks. What truth is there to such strange tales? No one can say for certain, for in the margins of Codex Inversus, there will always be things which evade all understanding. Observing the world of Codex Inversus is like looking through a fractured window, with the images shifting and merging before your eyes. Yet this scrambled world of fables and myth follows its own kind of rules if one looks closely enough. There are countless other strange and wondrous aspects of Codex Inversus I wasn't able to cover here, and you can see more of the art and read more of the narrative using the links in the description. And if you find this world as interesting as I do, I encourage you to follow and support Luca Vanzella, who is continuing to flesh out this dreamlike realm. Once again, links are down below. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this entry, please lend your support by liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification icon to stay up to date on all things curious. See you in the next video.